But then on the subject of transfers, Jamie, we come towards the end of the episode, so we'll play a little, maybe a bit of a game, I guess, but more of just a little, less serious, less Crystal Palace, what arsehole situation. We'll do a bit of keep, buy, sell. So obviously, as I touched on before, episode 1 of this podcast came out the week after the season had ended, and we're doing the second episode on at time of recording. It's the 20th of July, so creeping on towards the start of the season and pre-season well underway. So in front of me, I've got last season's Nottingham Forest squad, including all the players that were out on loan. And we're just going to go through and say whether we would keep them, buy them, or sell them. And if they have already been sold or loaned, then we'll say whether we think that we agree with that decision. So, you ready to go?
Let's do it.
Okay, well, we'll start off with, I guess, a fairly easy one. Wayne Hennessy.
Go.
Yeah, and obviously it wasn't really much of our decision anyway because he's retired now, and technically he hasn't gone because he is back and he's a goalkeeper coach, so he is still in and around Nottingham Forest. Don't get me wrong, when he played on those few occasions it wasn't anything special, but good number 3, loads of experience, and I hope he does well for us as a coach. Carlos Miguel.
Keep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I can agree with that. I mean, he's shown maybe a bit of shakiness on a couple of occasions when he played, potentially.
Our Exeter. That was the game where I was like, sell him. Other than that, I would say like Newcastle in the Cup, I think he did a pretty good job. I would say that he's just a steady backup keeper for me.
Yeah, I think I can agree with that. And then I think it's pretty obvious answer. Sells.
Keep all day.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't even think I need to discuss him. What a goalkeeper. Golden Glove winner, plays for Nottingham Forest in the Premier League. That is pretty incredible to say. If you'd have said that to me 5 years ago, then I would have punched you in the head. He's a phenomenal goalkeeper. Probably not that far. I don't know why I said that. Sel was just he's incredible. Say all the problems we had with goalkeepers before his arrival with Turner and Vlachodimos, and then Henderson's injury. We had a new one in Navas. Sells has been a breath of fresh air, and I am very, very happy that we've got someone we can rely on in between the sticks now. Morato moving up through the defence.
Keep, but I would say that because at the end of the last season when he played a bit shaky, I'm not going to go too much off this pre-season because pre-season Nottingham Forest are awful, and I hate watching them. The same result against Chesterfield every single year. So yeah, I would say keep for now. But if he isn't at the level that he really should be next season, then I could see maybe a January sale.
Yeah, I think I could agree with that. So I'd say keep an eye on him is probably the fairest way of saying that, or the fucking stupidest way of saying that. Murillo.
Keep all day.
You like the? I'm assuming you said keep.
Keep, yeah, keep.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's a gem. To say that he wasn't that much of a high-profile player, he'd only been a professional for a matter of months before we brought him in, and he took to the Premier League in his first season like he'd been there his entire career, and now he's going into his third season. I've not seen too much speculation about him maybe leaving. I know a lot of clubs are obviously interested in him. We've seen that paper talk a million times now, but I think he's definitely going to be a player that we dig our heels in over now that Alanga's gone and Gibbs White will likely go. And I'm absolutely all for it because I love Murillo to pieces. He's such a unique centre-back. Nikola Milenkovic.
Absolutely keep. Make him captain.
Yeah, absolutely. Keys to the city for Milenkovic. What a player. As I just said, transformative signing. Exactly the profile of player that fixed us. Willy Bolly.
Keep. I think he's good to have around. If we are looking to move tactic to like a 3-4-3, well, he played under Nuno at Wolves in that formation. So, and I do think that after this year ends, I don't know whether he'd stay playing. So maybe there's a coaching role available for him as well after that.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, even if it's just for the sake of content on Ola Reina's Snapchat story, I'd be happy to keep him because he seems like it's quite an understated thing in football, having an experienced head who maybe isn't on the pitch every single week, but having an experienced head behind the scenes who's good for camaraderie. It's an understatedly important aspect to a football team, and I think Willy Bolly fits that perfectly. So yeah, I agree. Keep. Zach Abbott.
Keep. I think he's going to play a role in the first team this season a lot more. We've seen him kind of being pushed out to right back a lot, which
Mm,
is interesting. So I do wonder whether maybe Nuno is setting the precedent for him becoming either a more defensive fullback or potentially to be looking at the right-sided centre back, sort of if they wanted to go for a three at the back. So definitely keep him around.
yeah. I wasn't too sure actually. I was going to say loan for Zach Abbott. I think this is the first one we've not had the same opinion on. I think potentially a loan. I think he has got absolutely bags of potential. I'm very excited about him. To make your was it was his second club start in an FA Cup semi-final at Wembley against Manchester City of all people, and he didn't look out of place at all. And I thought actually played really well until injury took him off. That does speak a lot about the quality of play you've got there. He's only 19 years old. Um, I'm very, very excited about him, and I think maybe if he can cope with Man City at Wembley, he probably could cope with the Premier League. But if we're not quite willing to take that gamble, a top end Championship loan might be a good idea. But then there is also the case of, well, maybe we are looking at him as a right back rather than a centre back. He obviously played that role at Wembley. And then if we're looking at young centre backs, well, we've got Tyler Binden, who's already out on loan, and we're very, very excited about him as well. Reading fans have absolutely waxed lyrical about him. So if we are looking at him as a right back, that would make sense if we're looking at Binden as the centre back of the future. So my personal opinion is loan potentially, but if he did stay around, I don't think I'd have any complaints.
Could save money,
Uh,
by the way, as well. By
well,
keeping him, you
yeah,
could save money
yeah,
on
yeah, no,
renewal.
that's very true. If he can step up and play a role, then yeah, absolutely. It saves us having to fork out for a new backup right back. 'Cause if we did bring in a right back, it would probably be as a for backup purposes. Ola Aina,
Keep all day.
absolutely agree. Don't need to expand on that really. Nico Williams,
Keep all day again.
absolutely. Eric De Silva Moreira,
Um, I'd like to see him stay because of depth for me. Um,
mm,
and I still think that there's got to be a time where he can break out. I would like to see him get more cup appearances because when we played Newcastle in the cup, I actually thought he was really good
mm.
that game, and then we just didn't really see anything of him again. So I would still like to see him get a chance. So I'd keep for at least another season.
Yeah, I think I could agree with that. I am also again going to say loan here for Moreira, but I think it might be if again looking at Abbott if he's a right back and then Moreira as a right back as well.
Yeah,
If we are going to keep one of them around for depth purposes, I think it's more likely we keep Abbott for homegrown nation shit for Europe as well. So I think one of the two will go out on loan. Maybe we won't see both of them go out on loan potentially, but I think for both of their developments, a loan would probably be the right idea because if we weren't willing to play De Silva Moreira last season after some really encouraging cup performances, then I can't see us being too willing to play him this year. But then there is also the question of Conference League. Like, are some of our more squad players or younger players going to get more opportunities by playing in the Conference League? That fixture congestion is making the squad as big as possible with players that aren't going to take up a registration
did you mean
squad in the
Europa
Premier
League?
League.
Sorry, did you mean Europa League?
The Europa League, thank you.
Sorry,
Sorry,
sorry.
Steve. Sorry, Steve Parish.
You try email him, but no one.
I'll email him my apologies because I know he won't read them. But yeah, I think both could be good squad options, but I also think maybe a year out on loan would be more beneficial to the pair of them. He's of course already gone, but Alex Moreno, would you have re-signed him?
No, no.
Yeah, I think I can agree with that. I think start of the season he locked up Mohamed Salah at Anfield, and he did put in some phenomenal performances at times during the season. But I think if we did ever play him in that flat four, then he didn't really have much for us. He's 32 years old now. Are we going to be interested in bringing him in permanently for whatever fee he might command? If we weren't hugely convinced by him as a starter last year, if he can come in cheap as a backup option, purely to play a backup role like he did for the majority of last season, I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't be like, oh God, why have we signed Alex Moreno? But I'm not like desperate to bring him back, I don't think. So I would also say no, don't re-sign. Harry Toffolo.
No, done his part. Did that goal line clearance against Spurs. Good man, but he was on borrowed time after that Chelsea, after we conceded against Chelsea, and he let Reece James make that run for me.
Fair. I mean, Toffolo, what an amazing bloke. I
Yeah,
think it's the first thing. I don't think I've ever seen a squad player leave a football club to as much emotion from the fans. Like I think he played no more than 5 times last season, I'm pretty sure. But we were all pretty gutted that he'd gone because as an ambassador for the city for mental health as well, what an incredible bloke he was. So he leaves with everyone's absolute best wishes. I think on a football side of things, everyone's like, yeah, probably the right decision. But just on a personal side, absolutely gutted to see Toffolo go. But we are looking at this from a football argument, and so in that case, I would say, yeah, go. Moving into the midfield, then Ibrahim Sangari.
keep. I think if he can get a consistent run of game time, could be a real asset. So I'd definitely like to see him stay. And talking to Chelsea again, had he had stayed on the pitch against Chelsea the last game of the season, it could have
Mm.
been potentially a different result. But yeah, keep him along.
Yeah, and I agree. I think we are still waiting for that proper moment for Sangari to crack on since he came in for obviously all of the Brennan Johnson money. We were all really excited when he arrived. Very high profile player in the Eredivisie, who they were very excited about or very appreciative of. We're still waiting for that proper. We're still waiting for the penny to drop. But I do think if we can keep him fit, I really do. I was really encouraged by him towards the end of last season when he finally got that opportunity to be our starter. I think he could have a really big role next season. So I'm excited about him. I thought he was quality towards the end of last season. So absolutely keep for me. Another absolute here, Elliot Anderson.
Yep, no question.
Yeah, absolutely no shadow of a doubt. What a phenomenal player he is. And I think he'll probably have an even bigger standing this season. Obviously, with Elanga and Gibbs White, who maybe soaked up a bit more of a few more of the plaudits than him last season. I think Elliot Anderson will really start to come through as one of an absolute stars in the wider media as well now next season. He's not gone yet, but he likely will. Morgan Gibbs White.
Given the fact that he accepted the move and all the noise around it, I'd rather it just be over. So for me, I think we should part ways, and I think we should sell.
Yeah, I think I'm obviously I've already said what you just said there earlier on this episode, and yeah, I would rather it be over and done with. If he's going to go, just let him go and give ourselves more time and more money, I guess, as well to go about replacing him. Ignoring all of the noise and going into the transfer window before anything had happened, absolutely keep. But if he is to go, then let him go, and yeah, we'll get over it. We'll figure out a replacement, and we'll just go from there. It's rather to just rip the plaster off. Nicholas Dominguez.
Keep. Yep, I would keep. I think he's a very solid option in the midfield. Yeah, keep him.
Yeah, and I agree. He's obviously on his day. He is such an incredibly hard-working midfielder, who I'm very appreciative of personally. I think ever since he's arrived, we've seen a few really quality moments from him, and I think he's a wonderful player to have in the team. So yeah, I absolutely agree. Ryan Yates.
Keep. Next question.
Yeah, absolutely. He is the heart and soul of this football club, and everything that we were, and everything that we are. And I actually said this the other day. Seeing Newcastle fans' response to Sean Longstaff being sold to Leeds, a player who wasn't exactly the star of the team, but represented the area, local-ish boy, and everything in between. They were gutted that he left, and it's made me realise, shit. Like even if we're in the Champions League and Yates will only play like twice a season, I'm going to be absolutely heartbroken if he ever leaves. He's already gone, but Danilo, do you think that was the right decision?
Unfortunately, I think the ankle break ruined him. Um, it was so weird because we signed him as a defensive midfielder, but it always looked like his talent was higher up the pitch. But there was too much talent higher up the pitch in terms of Morgan Gibbs White, to really play him there. So really gutted that he's left, because he gave us some really good memories, and
Mm.
he'll always be remembered as like that first season, that goal against I think it was Southampton. I think just phenomenal.
Yeah,
Great guy. But that game at Wembley was when I was like, I'm sorry, but he's not good enough anymore. The game at Wembley against Man City, he didn't have the focus, he didn't have the speed to pass it, just giving away the ball so much, and it just kept happening. So he's just not ready for this now, and I think unfortunately that ankle break has ruined him a bit.
yeah, and again, going back to the first episode, a few weeks ago now, I had him down as our most underwhelming player of the season, but I did stress that it was through absolutely no fault of his own. It's because we know how good Danilo was before that injury and how important it was going to be important for us. He started our first game of the season, and then obviously that ended within minutes, essentially. And then I think that was absolutely absolutely the beginning of the end, because from that point onwards he looked a shell of the player he was. He didn't have that confidence and the drive to properly apply himself, um, hinging off of that injury. So I am sad that he's gone and that it hasn't eventually worked out. He is only 24, so I do think that he can still come back, wherever it may be. It just won't be with us, and I do absolutely hope that he does, because again, if he can get back to those best days elsewhere and with nothing to do with Forest, so that he will never score against us or anything like that, absolutely, I'd be thrilled for him. But I think as of right now, especially the fee that we got for him as well, because it seems like it's a decent fee. Yeah, I think Sell was the right choice. Taiwo Awoniyi.
Sell. I like Taiwo, but it seems like every season now, other than that first season, we're always coming back going, if he just stays fit this season, I reckon there's a good player there still. Unfortunately, I don't think we are a charity. And the end of the season last year was brutal for him, and I'm just glad that he's here. Like he said, I'm glad that he's alive. And to be honest with you, had that affected him more than it did permanently, I would hope that Forest would support him for as long as they can. Keep him on the books, do what you can. But given that he's fit and he's kind of ready to play again, I would rather assign an even younger striker, someone that's going to be an understudy, so that when Chris Wood, leaves in a year or two, Igor Jesus has someone there ready. Because I just don't really see Taiwo recapturing that form, I'll be honest, which is a shame. But I just don't see him doing it.
No, and I agree. I'm also on the Sell side. And again, it comes with a big tinge of sadness, because I don't think any of us are going to forget anytime soon how important Taiwo Awoniyi was for us staying up in that first year. His goal scoring run that he went on was phenomenal, and he's a player that I think we'll always appreciate in the fan base for everything he did. But it's just injury after injury after injury. The best ability is availability, to use the old cliche. And I do think those injuries just absolutely worn him down, to a certain degree. If he does ever go, or if he goes in this window, he'll go with my absolute best wishes. But again, as a football club now, with where we're aiming to be, I don't think we can rely on a 1 year if he is to come into the team, which guts me to say, because we know that there is a quality player in there at his core. But I think those injuries are just going to stop that from coming out again in a red shirt. Chris Wood.
Yep, keep, no doubt.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, best ever Premier League season coming at the age of 33 is pretty phenomenal. I don't think he's got a huge amount of years left in him, potentially, given his age. But if he can keep up even half of that form next season, then I'm pretty happy. I think, I don't think there's much else to say about Chris Wood, and what a bloke he is as well. Callum Hudson-Odoi.
Keep all day. Yeah, I think he's going to benefit from Elanga and Gibbs White not being there and having so much of the limelight. Obviously, I still think that for me, Hudson-Odoi needs to get his numbers up. People were suggesting him for an England call-up a while back, and I didn't really see why he should get one personally. I don't think I wouldn't be happy for Hudson-Odoi to be in an England shirt at the moment. I just don't think he gets enough numbers. However, he scores in big games, and he's scored big goals for Forest. So he is a game changer, and I would like to see him stay for that reason.
Yeah, I think in terms of profile, he's a really important winger. He was an absolute bargain for us as well. I mean,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5 million, whatever it was, in his first season, the amount of goals he got for us, and then last season, the importance of the goals that he scored for us, can't be like I'd pay that fee 10 times over out of my own pocket for Hudson-Odoi at Forest, and be grateful for the generational debt that it will bring me. Because I love him. I think his profile is perfect for us. Again, I do agree. Yeah, maybe the numbers coming up will be good. But Hudson-Odoi, absolute keep for me. Jota Silva.
Keep for the sake of depth, really. I think if we sold him now, it's another winger we've got to go out and get. Every kid wants to be a winger. Every football club needs wingers at the moment, and they're all bloody expensive. So let's just keep Jota Silva. He actually got quite a few goals last season, and he scored some important goals as well. So I know
Mm.
that people will have a go at him for being a bit erratic and the rest of it. I still think that there's a depth option there.
Yeah, I think I can agree with that. I mean, he's only 25 years old at the end of the day. Well, he's going to be 26 by the time the season starts, but ignore that. And yeah, he might not be the prettiest player in terms of a football aspect, but again, in terms of depth, I don't think he did, on the whole, a terrible job coming off the bench last season. I think he did have an okay impact here and there. There were times where he came off the bench and he didn't have a good impact at all, or sometimes when he was in the starting team sometimes not brilliant. But again, in terms of a depth option, I think we could probably do better than Jota Silva, but we could also do far, far, far worse than Jota Silva as well. I just can't be asked to play Manchester City, and if they play Jack Grealish or something like that, then that's going to do my head in, seeing all those stupid memes about their haircuts again. Or if we sign Jack Grealish, as I saw was linked with a couple of weeks ago, that's going to be hilarious. Final two players have already gone. So we start off Ramon Sosa.
He's just not at the standard. He didn't get a run of games. To be fair to him, he probably didn't get as much of a chance. However, Nuno does see him 5-6 days a week, and will have judged whether he's good enough or not. And to
Mm.
be completely honest with you, people that say, "Oh, he still had potential," he's 26, right? Like, I don't know how much more potential you think he's got. He's 26. It's like that old Lingard thing. It's all right. He's young. He's fine. He's 30, mate. Like, he's on 80 grand a week. Like, this is not a joke. Um, we made the right decision, and to get 10 million or whatever it was for Sosa, return on your investment. Personally, I think we made the right call.
And yeah, and I'm also in the same boat. I think Sell was the right decision. I actually am in that boat that I would have liked him to get. Excuse me, I would have liked him to get a bit more of a run of games in the team, because there were a couple of flashes that showed he had something about him. If that goal had gone in, if that shot had gone in against West Ham when he came off the bench, then who knows? He probably would have been our starting winger forever, for all we know. But that's football. It's a funny old game at the end of the day. And yeah, as you say, I think we did get a really good fee for him, and it seemed pretty obvious that Nuno Santo wasn't hugely fussed on him. And if that was the case and he had no plans for him, then yeah, the best thing is to do is to get as much money as you can for him, and let him kick his career on elsewhere if it isn't going to happen with us. And then Anthony Elanga.
I didn't want to sell him on the face of it, but if the money was right, like it was, then then sell. Very good player, suited our system a lot. It's going to be a bit of a headache for Nuno, because you will not get a player faster than Elanga. Can guarantee it. He's probably one of the
Mm.
fastest players in world football. So it's a shame, but got the right money. So yeah, sells the right decision in that case.
Yeah, and I said it, but he's incredibly quick, but far more than just a pace merchant as well. I think he was a really important player for us. It's going to be a bit of a wrench replacing him now, but we've got the money and the time to do so, and I do have absolute faith in Forest doing it. We were worried about Johnson. If we were going to replace him, we replaced him with Alanga. We're now worried about Alanga. I still have confidence that we're going to make the right choice with whoever it is that comes in to replace him. So yeah, I'm on your side there, I think, as well. So then, very very quickly, I don't think we need to explain these ones too much. Some of the players that are out on loan. So Marco Stamenic,
So
I agree. Sell. Jonathan Panzo, already gone, but
yeah, sell,
sell. Lewis O'Brien,
sell.
sell. Omar Richards.
We've got so much dead wood. Sell,
Omar Richards, if we yeah, now that we figured out that he is once again a real person, sell. David Carmo.
sell.
I'm
We don't
I'm
need
not
him.
sure. I'm not sure at him. To be fair, he was actually, from everything that I read, he was actually really good at Olympiacos last season. So
It's just
keep an
whether
eye on him in
see,
pre-season.
the problem is that we don't want to just stockpile. We've
Mm,
already got Morato as depth. We've already got Jair Cunha. And we've got Bolly. Even with a back three, I still think that would be excessive.
yeah,
In my opinion, I just think that it's all good being good at Olympiacos and doing that. That's fine. But I don't think that. I think they needed his depth more than we do. I don't think it'll benefit either party if he stays.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. But yeah, Carmo, not a hugely convinced answer from me, but yeah, maybe I'd lean on Sell given that. Bowler,
The goat. We need a winger. Sal, please, please.
yeah, absolutely sell for Bowler for me as well. And I feel so bad for him because we really wanted him when we were in the Championship, and he would have been a phenomenal signing at the time. We got him when we came up into the Premier League. He's still yet to play a competitive game for us, and we've absolutely spoiled his career. I feel personally really bad for Josh Bowler.
Welcome to Forest.
Welcome to Nottingham Forest. Welcome to the Nottingham Forest meat grinder. Matt Turner.
Sell all day. Get him away.
Release, whatever. Just sell. Yeah, get rid.
Please get rid.
Andrew Omobamidele.
I actually wasn't wanting to sell him because I
Neither.
at one point thought that he would be like, something special for Forest. That game against Liverpool at home was phenomenal for him. Even when we lost, he was amazing. But I don't think it ended too well because we didn't get any goodbye message or anything. It was just, I'm in France, I'm staying here. That's that. So, based on what he's saying, I would probably say sell. But
yeah, and it seems like there wasn't really much of an intention to keep him based on the messaging, I guess. He didn't leave with much fanfare. I thought there was a player in there ever since that debut. It was only against Blackpool, but he was really good ever since his debut. Anytime that we saw him, I thought he did a good job in red. There wasn't really much of a plan for him. That's why he went out on loan in the first place. So yeah, if he was going to go, then sell. But personally, I would have been interested to see if there was anything further for him. On this list, I've got Josh Bowler twice because he went out on loan twice. So I won't repeat that. Tyler Binden.
Keep all day. Good loan for him at Sheffield United. Top Championship team. Should do him good.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely keep. Obviously, it would make no sense to say so because we've only just brought him in. But yeah, absolutely keep. And I'm very excited about him if everything that Reading fans have said about him comes to be true. And Emmanuel Dennis.
Sell. Just sell. Please, Forest, just sell. There's so many players that you just need to get off your books. Terminate the contracts, man.
I've not paid a huge deal of attention. Has Dennis played a minute for us yet in pre-season?
I don't think he has, no.
Okay, good, because there is always I worry about Dennis playing in pre-season, having an okay performance once, twice, and then a couple of us start to be like, maybe Dennis has a little chance here. Like, because I've been on that side as well, but this time I'm very resolute.
Every year.
I'm absolutely resolute this time. Please sell Emmanuel Dennis because he's not going to kick a ball in a Forest shirt again. I don't think.